In my last video, I talked about switching from Windows 11 to CachyOS, and in this video, I just wanted to talk about one of the issues I ran into, which was Steam. My Steam games were originally used on my Windows computer, and I wanted to transfer them to Linux without having to re-download everything. That was the goal. In my PC, I have two separate SSDs, or actually three. So I have my OS drive, my game drive, and then a capture drive, which you'll see later. I wanted to simply wipe my OS drive of Windows, get rid of Windows, and install CachyOS, and then keep my game drive. That worked okay at first, but then I started noticing weird issues with Steam, where games would either not open, or the Steam Cloud save would not refresh properly, it would just hang forever, and then sometimes games would just crash. So in this video, I want to show you how to fix all that. We're going to reformat our drive from ntfs, which is Windows focused, to ext4, which works great on Linux. And then also we're going to add our drives to fstab so that they auto mount and you don't have to click on them and enter your password every time. So if that sounds helpful, this is the video for you. Okay, so I'm in console, this is our terminal, and I'm going to run ls blk or block-f. So this is how we look at all of our drives that are installed in the PC. And today I'm just going to be looking at the one called capture. Yours might be games or whatever. And the easiest way to tell would be the ntfs format. You can see all mine are ext4 now because I've already done this. So I was lucky enough to have 3 drives total: my OS, my game drive, and then a drive I use for my recordings, captures. So what I did, I actually moved all my captures to my NAS, or you could just delete them. And then I had old games and new games. So basically for new games, that's the one I reformatted from NTFS to ext4. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm just going to use my capture drive for today. So the first thing we need to get from this ls block is the NVMe ID. So in my case, it's NVMe 0N1P2. So we're going to copy that. So we're going to copy our NVMe ID, and we're going to run sudo dev, and then paste that in there. So we're going to unmount it. Mine's currently not mounted. That's fine. If you get an error saying not mounted, no big deal. Just move on. Okay, so now that we've unmounted our drive, or it wasn't already mounted, that's fine. Now we're going to reformat it. And warning, don't do this if you have any data on the drive. I'll show you how to copy some stuff over in a minute, but don't run this next command if you care about the data on the drive. Don't get mad at me in the comments if you delete something. But after you've gotten all the data off that you want, we're going to run sudo mkfs ext4-l for label. I'm going to call mine capture. You can call it games or whatever you want. /dev/ the NVMe ID that we had earlier. So I'm going to run this. It contains a file system labeled capture, last mounted, sure. Yes. Okay, so it's very quick. It wipes the whole drive. Now we're going to run ls blk-f again. And now you can see we actually have a new UUID. Also, it's really important to make sure you get the right NVMe ID because you could overwrite your OS drive, your boot drive. Yeah, it's bad. It could be bad. So make sure you get the right one here. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to leave this open because these are our correct UUIDs. I'm going to go to this other terminal window right here. And we're going to make directory -p. We're going to make our mount points. You don't have to do this in a new window. I'm just doing it for clarity. And then So now we're going to mount the NVMEs at the mount point that we just created. If you skip the step, you might end up copying a bunch of games to your OS drive. Ask me how I know. But we're going to mount at dev NVMe. Let's do capture first. So 0N1P2. Mount capture. Perfect. So we're going to do it again for dev. What is this one? This is NVMe 2N1P2. And we're going to mount this one at game drive. Perfect. With that done, let's just verify really quick. We're going to run dfh mnt capture. Okay, so we can see that our mount point does in fact go to our NVMe like it's supposed to. And then one more time for the game drive. We can see that these match up. So just double check your NVMEs are right. 0N1P2 is capture for me. 2N1P2 is the game drive. Perfect. Okay. With that double check out of the way. Okay, so just to clarify where we're at, for you guys, game drive would be your old games. Capture would be your new games, if that makes sense. I'm sorry I'm not using the exact names. I'm setting up a new CachyOS install, so I had to do this anyway. Okay, so what we're doing here is creating the Steam library folder on the new games drive. So mount capture Steam library looks good. Awesome. So we're going to run. So now we just need to add permissions. Okay, so now we're granting ourselves permission to that library, or to that folder rather, that we just created. Good. So let's look and see what we have on. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, so let's see what we have already on the game drive. Okay, so we have the Steam library, perfect. And that's everything that we want to copy over now. So I would use RSync for this. I'm just copying from my notes here. I don't remember this exactly. So this is the command you would run. rsync -avh capital P, the mount location of your old game drive and the mount location of your new game drive. Again, sorry for the label mismatch. Hopefully it's not too confusing. So I will run this, but I'm going to stop it midway because I don't actually want to copy all this over. But just to show you what it looks like. Yeah, there you go. It's a bunch. I'm actually just going to Control C out of it. Okay. And that could take a long time. I had about 2 terabytes and it took about 20 minutes. And yeah, so that is how you reformat a drive and how you copy over your games from one to another. Okay, so at this point we have all of our games copied over to our new game drive. Now we just want to make it auto mount so that Steam will pick up your games automatically and you don't have to click on it every time you log in. So we're going to run lsbok again over here. Okay, now what we care about, now that we have our NVMEs set up and we're ext4 for the format, now let's set up auto mount so that Steam can automatically recognize our games. So I'm actually going to set up both of these drives. So I need the UUID for my capture. And then in a new terminal window, we're going to say sudo nano etc fstab. we're going to go down to the bottom here, just like a lot of these other ones. UUID equals, paste that. Next, we want the mount point, which is, for me, MNT capture. Yours will be whatever you called it earlier. The format is ext4. The spacing is a little weird, sorry. But we're going to go with defaults, comma, no A time, no fail, space 0, space 2. And then again, we're going to do this for games as well. So UUID equals, paste that in, MNT game drive, ext4, defaults, oops, no A time, no fail, 0, 2. So your fstab should look like this. You have your UUID, your mount point, your format, which is ext4, and then a few options. Don't really worry about that, it's mostly defaults. And then 0, 2. So in Nano, we're going to hit Control O, Enter, and then Control X to exit. Okay, so after this, we're going to sudo mount A. And then we're going to run a find mount. Perfect. Okay. So this just means this find MNT, this just means that our NVMe is showing up as we expect. Let's do it again for the game drive. Nice. Okay, so now we can compare. Capture is showing up like it's supposed to. Game drive is also showing up like we expect. Perfect. Okay, so that means our fstab edits worked. So at this point, I'm going to reboot, and I'll come back and test everything with Steam. Okay, so we're back. The first thing I want to check is Dolphin. Nice. Okay, we see capture and games already mounted. That's perfect. That is what we expect if fstab is working like it's supposed to. So now let's go into Steam. Library. Okay, my games are not showing up, but I think I haven't set up the downloads yet. So we're going to go to Library, Downloads, this little settings wheel up here on the right. And we want to go to Storage. We're going to add a drive. Perfect. It's showing up mount game drive. It's exactly what we want. It has to install something, that's normal. Okay, and that should be good now. Let me just close out of that one more time. Perfect. Okay, all my games are recognized. I am going to go ahead and make this the default, so all my new games download there. And then if I go to library, yep, that's expected. Okay, this happened the first time as well. So basically you just have to go through and click retry sync on all these, and then it syncs pretty quickly. No big deal. I'm not sure why that happens, but it's also pretty easy to fix. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. This was definitely an issue that I ran into when I migrated from Windows to CachyOS. I know a lot of people are moving to CachyOS these days. So if this was helpful, leave a like and a comment. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one.